Welcome to Corinne's Picks. I'm Daniel Lanzilotta, and tonight's guest is really a remarkable painter, artist that I've known for a long time now. And I have to say, if you're going to have a signature, it should be Larry Rushing's. My guest is Larry Rushing, a remarkable painter. Welcome to the Bronx. Welcome to BronxNet, Larry.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Daniel. It's a pleasure to be here.
Where shall we begin? Let's talk about you, what's happening in your life, painting, your statue, your signature, your lines. We're looking at the background right now. Could you tell us something about that painting as the background?
No, the painting that you're looking at right now is Triassic Farms, and it's a replica. It's not an actual replica, but it's close to a replica of the house that I grew up in on the farm. So I guess you could say that that was the beginning.
Your roots are in the deep South Georgia on a farm.
Yeah.
And then you went urban early on in your life?
Yeah, my roots are basically I was born in the rural section of Georgia. To try to describe it would be say that the nearest town was 15 miles south and 25 miles north. It was
so you have a core value of making.
A core value of making, absolutely.
And doing and building and essentially self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient, yes. Farm-wise, yeah, because I was born on a farm. I was raised on a farm for the first decade of my life by my great-grandmother, my grandmother's mother, of course. And I learned how to do little things like build my own toys and play around the farm.
How does that show up in your work? How does that self-sufficiency of making, doing, and having this vision of something and then making it come to fruition?
Well, it shows up in my work strangely enough, I guess it shows up in my work in a very clear way now at this point, but however, I didn't start out that way. I mean, it was just, for me, it was just to have toys to play with, plows and hammers and etc., things of that nature. And later on, once my great-grandmother passed away, she was 92 when she passed away, so I was 11, so I figured she was, like 81, 80 when I was born, and she was the midwife and, of course, raising me. And then after her passing at 92, my mother retrieved me from the rural sections of Georgia, illiterate, etc., and placed me in the inner city. And then as I began to ingratiate myself into a new world of understanding, I discovered art.
And in that journey of discovering art, do you think that that artist and art in your own special way, that it's a form of activism for you?
It is a form of activism, and you could say that. Well, art in itself can be always, not necessarily always, but can be a form of activism. It depends on the viewer. I don't particularly do art as an activist. I do it in honor of my great-grandmother. And through that process, you could say that, yes. It's
how in all the years, I've known you a long time and I've looked at your work quite a bit and I've written things about it for you. How did you come to this very unique style that just screams Larry Rushing? The layers, your palette is completely unique. Your line is incredibly yours. And I think that's a really important aspect of being an artist, so that the viewer, once they see it and they get used to it and there's repetition in viewing your art, that people instantly know it's you. It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I was taught, just to take a step back, I think I went to the schools that I went to, it was structured. It was like the old academy. You had to learn how to draw and render and design before you could make a statement. So I learned how to draw and and those things. And in that process, through art history, I discovered certain artists that I was intrigued by, and through that, I began to formulate my own. Now, my favorite artist, where I derived a lot from, was George Brock, who was part of, Brock probably don't even recognize the name right off, but if I say Picasso,
Right.
and then you would know who
Cubism.
I was talking about, because he and Picasso shared the same palette.
Right.
Brock is responsible for, actually for Cubism.
Right.
And so through that process, that layering technique and collage, etc., I studied him an awful lot, and several other artists. But the linear quality that you're talking about is my own discovery, is that I'm trying to use line to create an improvisational rhythm through the linear quality and the presentation of the design, so that one can get involved in the situation and understand my statement.
Well, there's no question about your work that there is a narrative. And a lot of times we see paintings where it looks like just a lay-in. And many paintings today, in my opinion, are just, they look incomplete. There's, what exactly are we talking about here? And it needs some sort of explanation. With your work, you dive in, at least I do, and I'm like, there's a journey, several stories, B-roll, A-roll, if you want to speak about it in terms of film, and it's the palette, the line, the everything about it, how you use color, but there's so many layers and stories going on. It's really a book in many ways. Your narrative is rich as could be. That to me is very intriguing.
Yeah, well, I hope, I'm excited about that, and thank you for saying that, Daniel. But the whole point of this is to, that narrative and that storytelling you're mentioning, is to get you connected to the linear design and quality and the roadmap within the context of the painting, and then discover my story. And my story is simply that my philosophy is that femininity is the universal source of creativity via all species of life.
Right.
And
with saying that, let's look at some of Larry's work. Let's see what we have here. What do we got here, Larry? That's stunning. I mean,
yeah.
it is quite rich.
Well, this particular painting, again, it includes an awful lot of things. All right, so let's back up for a moment. When I came out of off the farm, from the tractors and the plows and et cetera, I was introduced to light bulbs, of which we didn't have on the farm. And I was intrigued by light bulbs and glasses, because our glasses were mason jars. I mean, we had a few glasses, but for the most part, we didn't deal with the elegance of APs and champagne flutes, etc.
Right.
So I discovered that, and I had an affinity for it, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my work? What am I doing painting? Okay, I love painting still lifes, but I don't want to paint just a still life. So what am I going to do? So I went out and just investigated and started finding glass. And I said, well, glass is intriguing to me. How about if I break it? Well, can I control it? Well, you can't control the breakage of glass. It breaks according to its weakness and the pressure applied. So that was my spontaneity. So then I said, light bulbs. Okay, here's something else that is interesting to me. So I can break light bulbs. I broke glasses. And then I create these still lives. I find still lives and I create still lives. And I do this in order to perfect a design that will create a storyline that will enable you to address and hopefully follow and discover what my story is all about and what I'm trying to say. And all I'm trying to do is get you to recognize that I'm honoring femininity.
That is without question. I've paid very close attention to your paintings. Let's see another, please.
Now, this particular painting is called Innocence, and again, I go back. I use I contrast two different points of view. That's the rural and urban. This is a rural setting, and it's closer to one of the houses that I lived in growing up. My great-grandmother, as she progressed in age and illness began to take over and take hold, we lived in two different places. That first house, the first painting you saw, was kind of similar to what I was born in. This would be a house my uncle lived in, which was several miles away, but my grandmother would go over there to live because my aunt would take care of her. So what I do is that I take the rule, wagon wheels, etc., and then I utilize that and I present that in a painting and create this design. But it's just to honor where I came from the rural to the urban. You know, the first 10 years of my life was on a farm, and I was illiterate.
So this is a lot of sense memories that are triggered in your own story, in your own mind, and then you're doing an interpretation in your studio.
Yeah, it's sense memory. Yes, it's going back, revisiting my earlier stages in life.
How does that affect you emotionally when you're doing that?
Well, it's satisfying. It's satisfying and it's intriguing, and it's telling a story. It's telling a story, and the whole story is based upon, as I stated earlier, femininity, and it's the honor of my great-grandmother. And the reason I keep saying that is that my great-grandmother, I don't have any pictures of her. I don't have anything of her, nothing. And that's because when I was taken from the farm, all of the tchotchkes and things that I could have had for memories to take with me were destroyed, lost, or misplaced. And so I go back there, I paint that section utilizing that in memory of her, and then trying to incorporate some aspects of my being today and contemporarily so, and also continuing to have her live.
I thoroughly enjoy that you're honoring your ancestors. This past week, a very good friend of mine, she wasn't my aunt, but just I was very close to her. She passed away. She was, I think, 94. And that sense of loss of some connections that I had with this person,
Yeah.
it kind of threw me for a loop. She was one of the only people in my life that actually laughed at my jokes. And so that's sort of kind of gone now,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so that hurt. And so when I hear your story, and I've heard you speak to this before, it's extremely beautiful for me to hear.
Yeah.
And that you share that, and that you're giving her this amount of honor. It's a very important aspect of life.
I was told, I was told, I don't remember where I heard it stated, but they says that if you, those that have passed away, and if you speak their name or speak of them, then they live on. And so for me, she's my angel, and she's with me all the time, and I feel closer by honoring her through my work as an artist. I had no intentions of becoming an artist. I didn't even know what art was.
So this is kind of just happened?
It did kind of happen. It did just kind of happen because once as I said, I moved. My mother brought me to the inner city. I grew up there, graduated from high school, and then...
And where was that?
That was Miami, Florida, in the inner city of Miami, Florida, Liberty City. Anyone who knows about that knows that was pretty rough. And there I went into the Marines. And then I discovered that there was another world outside of Georgia and Florida. And of course, coming out of the Marines, I had formulated a man, it built a man actually, as to whatever that is. And so I had to decide what I wanted to do. Well, I needed to do something, so okay, well, the nearest thing to do, you can go to college. So I went to the local community college, 2 years associate, and I had to say my great-grandmother had to be with me, guiding me, but I had met this counselor who took an interest in me and gave me all kinds of tests and told me, she says, well, it's going to be difficult for you, but you're great with your hands and you can do things with your hands. And I says, well, I want to be a designer. And I thought I wanted to be fashion design. And of course, taking fashion design, you have to know how to draw and render and that kind of stuff. And then I discovered art, painting. I didn't even know what painting was. Prior to that, the only thing I knew about painting was a coloring book, and I probably painted about 30 seconds and threw it away and went and got my wire and pliers and made my tractors and went on my way.
You didn't know all of this information was stored in there, and it was just waiting for it to be
Had no clue. Had
given
no clue.
to the world as you have.
No, had no clue, but then the counselor encouraged me to study and told me where I could go take some art classes, and it would be easier for me to survive and get my footing in college and et cetera. And I went on and I graduated and got lucky and got accepted to grad school. And then I got my master's degree, and then I had to decide what I wanted to do with the art. So, well, all right, you're an artist. What are you going to do? What do you want to say? What do you do with it anyway?
Well, on that note, let's see another painting, please. Ah,
Say, yeah. So now this is a gouache, but it's back to the story. Is what do you do with the art? Well, okay, I need to do something with it. It needs to be something personal. It's got to attach to me. All right. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, I want to paint something from the rural, and I want to paint something from the urban. I'm going to combine the two philosophies. Okay, why? Okay, so doing that, but so what? What's the purpose of that? All right, the purpose of it is to honor my grandmother, because she's the most important thing in my life next to that I knew, because she birthed me into the world, brought me into the world. She was a midwife, by the way, and she brought me into the world. And I said, okay, well, but I can't do that because I can't paint pictures of her. I don't have anything of her, so. Oh, the next best thing is to honor femininity. And then I got her. I have her anytime I say
she's
that.
literally in every one of your paintings.
Every painting I do,
I know.
she is it.
I see that, yes.
She is it.
So when you're out in the world, do you ever come across objects that you see that are broken and you find some affinity with it?
Yes, absolutely, all the time. I am always on the lookout for those little objects that will remind me of my past or fit into the design of my past.
So a broken glass to you is more than the broken object.
It is.
It brings back memories of things, and you find this beauty in the brokenness, as we sometimes have people in our lives or ourselves have been broken at some point in time. That's a very endearing part of who you are and how you value things.
Yeah, and I think the broken glass and the angularity and the sharp points, for me, conveys the story of the loss of my great-grandmother, because that was the truest love I've ever experienced, that I had ever experienced in the world. I mean, for me, that it's just like she's an angel that I lost. That brokenness, that period was when I was broken away, that just taken away from me, and then dropped into an environment where it was chaotic.
The urban aspect of it?
Urban aspect. It was, had to learn everything all over. I mean, learn how to live, how to think, how to function.
How old were you when you went to Miami?
I was 11.
Okay.
I was 11 years old, and I was illiterate. And I was dropped in the middle of a city, and I had never seen a store, as huge store, and I thought that was the city. And my mother had to caution me and tell me that that was just a grocery store, and not to speak so loud. She would take me to this real city in the daylight, and I could see what it was all about.
Right. And how much time did you spend in Miami as a child?
And for the next, from time that I was 11 until I went into the Marines, I went through high school and elementary school, primary, secondary, and high school. Then first 4 years of college there, and then I left.
Did you go overseas at all at that point?
No, I joined the Marines and I went in as a reservist, and I was trying to volunteer to go overseas. And as the world have it, every time I went to sign up, there was a conflict, and I won't share the story with you because it's a little graphic. But the sergeant kicked me out of the office because he had other
That's
intentions.
for another time.
Yes, and so I didn't sign up. And then
Do you have any references to that time in your life in your paintings?
Not really, other than the disciplinary aspects of understanding and trying to project a certain clear message.
So that Marine training has given you a certain type of discipline to focus in on what you're doing as an artist?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's
Absolutely.
very powerful.
Absolutely. It's like marching in step.
Wow.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without
And
it.
what is your schedule like? You're painting every single day, several hours a day?
I
or-
try to paint at least 4 to 5 hours a day now.
Wow.
For the last 3 years, I would say, yeah,
That's
4 to 5
discipline.
hours a day. I try to put it in.
That's profound.
All except Sunday. Sunday is the day off, the day of rest, I call it. That's to do the laundry, etc.
Okay. That's really good. Let's see some more paintings.
Nick Pizzazz. This is a combination of what I like to think of as of my paintings as my great grandmother's garden where we grew plants, not the plant garden for aesthetic purposes, but for livable purposes.
You grew food.
Food,
Right.
where we ate.
Nourishment.
Nourishment, right. Corn patch, garden, yard.
And that was through your great grandmother.
That's my great grandmother. Yeah,
She gave you nutrition on that level.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this painting kind of represents that, and the chains and the wagon wheels that are lying around outside by the barn, and etc.
So I see that you have a lot of motifs that are constantly being repeated in many different paintings.
Yeah.
Right. And that's by design.
That's by design. That's by design. It's back to that point that I was trying to make earlier about the fact is that I am contrasting 2 points of view. That's the urban and the rural. Those were 2 great impressions of my life. The beginning and the second stage. I formulated the man and then up into the wonders
Okay.
of creating art.
Fantastic. Tell us how we can find you.
Oh,
Where are you?
You can find me on Instagram, Larry Rushing, or you can reach me through email, rushing1@me.com. I'm
If
on
someone
all
wanted to come
social
visit
media.
you in the studio and see you at work,
Oh yeah,
being there,
just reach out. Reach
the
out.
smell of oil paints.
Smell of oil. Reach out to me and let me know that you want to pop in. I'll give you a glass of water and let you smell some turpentine.
Do you have any upcoming shows or anything?
Well, yes, I do have an upcoming show that's going to be up in New York with Nyack, I think, yeah, at a gallery, a small gallery up there. And I'm going to be at Prince Street Gallery with the Federation of Modern Painters and Sculptures in
Here
July.
in the city?
Here in the city.
And that's on Prince Street in Soho?
No, it used to be. It's in Chelsea now.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know, a couple of other little things. I'm applying all the time, all around. So I'm always on social media and posting when I have exhibits and stuff like that. So you could always
Beautiful.
find me.
Excellent. I really enjoyed your time here. I was very honored to have you as a guest because I've been following you and your work for a very long time now, and I think it's very impactful. And the feminine energy of your work is absolutely a necessary, divine aspect of what you do and who you are.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. It's been a pleasure being here with you, and I just hope to keep painting and become a better painter.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Any other little tidbits of wisdom that you might share with us? Something that your great grandmother might have said to you.
Wow, what she would say: just be honorable, clear-eyed, and respectful.
Yes, we need more of that, Larry. As you might imagine,
Yeah.
the world would be a better place with more Larry Rushings in it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I think so.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
Great.
Thank you for having me, and it's been an honor to be here with you and share my work with you. And I look forward to.
Hopefully, when this is finished and ready to be aired, that you take this information and share it with the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I want this to be a part of the legacy to help art stand on its own.
It's a digital format, so it's gonna be around for a long, long time. And once I get the link, I share it quite often.
Wonderful.
And, over many weeks of when it's up and out there in the world. Well, that's about it. And thank you, Larry Rushing, for being here, and thank you for coming to the Bronx.
Well, thank you, Daniel. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you soon.
You will. Thank you.